With us today, we have another very courageous journalist, Ms. Yirgalem Fisseha, who herself has spent 6 years in prison in Eritrea without charges. She will now tell us a little bit about how it is to be imprisoned in Eritrea. Yes.
I'm honored to be part of this ceremony, and I'm grateful to the Edelstam Foundation for the opportunity. 5 years ago, in September 2019, I had a chance to attend in Gothenburg Book Fair. It was to give a glimpse of my experience of what it's like to be a prisoner in my country, Eritrea. In the venue, I joined panels to address Dawit's current situation and viewed portraits of him and his colleagues who are held incommunicado since 2001. Then moved to an installation that replicated Dawit's prison cell and an empty chair that represented his absence. On my return, I wrote my impression of the situation, titled Dawit, the Swedish Guy, and My Fellow Eritrean. I'm going to be reading a few lines from the text. As a series of images of my prison experience began to visit me, standing near Dawit's cell was so challenging. We also visited a space where Dawit and his colleagues were on display. These brothers, friends, and colleagues, who in reality are deprived of seeing each other, reassure and uplift one another in the dark abyss of their country, are now close together in the dignified manner in Sweden, represented by their pictures. And those of us who are not allowed to visit them in the unknown prison in Eritrea had the opportunity to visit them on the display. 5 years later now, there has nothing changed. I feel deep grief that we are in a situation where we cannot even know their whereabouts. As we gather today to honor and recognize the heavy price Dawit is paying for his human and professional rights, I invite each of you to take a moment to imagine how he might be doing and what he might be thinking at this very moment. In the meantime, let me share my prison experience, which was way better compared to the suffering Dawit and his colleagues have been and are going through. The military prison, Mysurwa, where I spent 6 years, and many other prisoners in the country were shipping containers or small concrete cells. As we know, shipping containers are mainly made of steel. During cold weather, they change to freezing, and during hot weather, they are inferno. The cell is 4 square meters, almost bed size. If you are alone, you feel unmatched loneliness. If there are people, it gets unbearable. When the number of prisoners increase, 2, 3, maybe more, people will share such a tiny space for many years. These who forcibly disappeared prisoners were allowed to relieve themselves only twice a day. Otherwise, they are forced to do it inside the cell. So, the cell is used as a dining room, living room, and toilet. And this goes on for many, many years. Prisoners are not allowed to read or to write, and they do not get proper health facilities. The food provided is inadequate and innutritious. Around every 2 weeks, there is an extensive search to confiscate everything we are not allowed to have, like pens, books, papers, sewing needles, and sanitary pads. No matter how long they are in prison, they are not allowed to be visited by their family members and friends. They are even not allowed to know what is happening outside their cells. As torture and brutal interrogations are routine practices, you will either be subjected to torture or forced to hear the screams of innocent individuals every day. Finally, I believe this deserving prize helps to bring international attention to Dawit and his colleagues' situation and highlights the heavy price they are paying for defending their human and professional rights. I thank you.